welcome to Skyline Columbus. I'm Diane Carver, and with me we have Heather Reitzel. She's from the Northside Child Development Center and Turning Point. Welcome.
Thank you.
I've heard that the Northside Center is a very unique center. Can you tell us what is so different about your child development program?
Yes, Northside Child Development Center is a 24-hour daycare center preschool for children ages 2 to 11. We serve parents who are low income or they all have to be working full-time or in school full-time. Parents who work at night for the alternative shifts can also bring their children, since we're open 24 hours a day. So, we're the only daycare center who does that, who has services for the parents who work alternative shifts.
So you're open 24 hours. This means you have bedrooms, etc., in the building that the children can sleep at in place?
We don't necessarily have bedrooms. We have cots that the children sleep on, and their parents bring their blankets and their pillows, anything else that the child will need for sleeping.
Okay. When did this program start?
Northside originated in about 1918 as an orphanage, and then turned into a preschool, and then just a few years ago, well, quite a few years ago, went to 24-hour daycare. Turning Point is originated in 1985.
Okay, you said this is a 24-hour child care service and parents utilize this. How many parents do you think utilize this service?
We have quite a few parents and even more on the waiting list for our services. Since our parents all are from different incomes, our fee for the services for Northside are on a waived scale, which means however much they make, it kind of varies with however much they make for a year.
Okay. The Northside Child Development Center also has included Turning Point, and this also is a very unique concept. Can you explain to us what that is?
Sure. Turning Point is also open 24 hours a day. It's a crisis nursery for children from 0 birth to about 12 years old, and mostly we serve infants at Turning Point. It's a crisis nursery for parents who feel like they're at risk of abusing or neglecting their child or children, can bring them to Turning Point for 3 days of respite. So they spend the night there and they stay with us for 3 days. They get all their meals. Everything is provided, and there's no charge for that service.
Okay, and as I'm told, this is the only such facility in the state?
Yes, it is. We're in the process of being the project for another site located in Athens County. So they're going to try and develop a Turning Point in Athens because it's a greatly needed service. We can only service up to 12 children in Turning Point at any one time. Mostly 10 is all we can serve. 12 is the most, definitely, and we have to turn away quite a few children from Turning Point, which we of course hate doing when the parent is in crisis.
If you turn these children away, do you have other references for the parent to go to?
Yes, we give references to the parents for other facilities, including when their children come to Turning Point. When they're brought to Turning Point, we talk with the parent and give them since we're only a temporary solution for their problems, we give them long-term places that can help them. For example, Huckleberry House, the Boys Ranch, other facilities that can help them for their long-term needs.
Okay, you said that the children come overnight. What about children who are in school? Do they continue going to their own school while they're at Turning Point? Do you provide the transportation?
Depending on where it is, we have an elementary school right across the street, which most of the children go to, and we also have another school called Wyland Park that we have a contract with a cab service that takes the children to Wyland Park.
And Turning Point is said you want to start this in Athens County. Why did you pick Athens?
We didn't exactly pick Athens. We have a federal grant that they decided it's going to be started in Athens County.
So do you think eventually there will be more turning points around the state?
We hope so. There should be. With all the children that need to be turned away, we hope to see more services since it's such a big problem now in our society.
This is a federal grant. You said you received the federal grant. So if we need more turning points in our state, how do we go about getting these, or how do you go about getting those federal grants or the money to start those?
Well, we always work on expanding. We constantly work on that, so that's an ongoing process that we work on. It's not something that you can just start up overnight. It's a long-term process that has to be set up. Certain things need to be accompanied with that.
Okay, your services go out to mostly low-income families. How do you get the message across to those families that you are available? Are there any certain ways you advertise more or less?
We don't necessarily advertise. We've gotten a lot of recognition through papers. We've been published lots of articles in the Columbus Dispatch. Peter Jennings was here in June and did a segment filming from Northside Child Development Center, which was a big advertisement for us. So that was our major one, but we've been published in quite a few articles.
When Peter Jennings did come with ABC, do you think that helped for the nation to see that Turning Point is needed in other states as well?
Yes, definitely. It did help, and we got quite a few phone calls after the Peter Jennings story.
From just Ohio or from the whole nation?
Well, just from our area of people who really didn't know that much about Turning Point. So it was a big step for us. We were there to give people references and be able to help people in that situation.
I read that the Child Development Center stated that they stress the total development of the child. Could you tell us a little bit more about what that includes?
Sure. All of our teachers at Northside have a degree in child development. And the teachers have to have a lesson plan all filled out, and it's approved by their supervisor. All the children, we have stations. They go from station to station doing certain activities, puzzles at one station, maybe coloring at another. When they eat lunch, since we're open 24 hours a day, of course, we serve all 3 meals, including snacks. So whenever a meal is served, it's always served family style, which means the teachers sit with the children can pour their own milk, do things like that, so it's all in a family situation.
Okay. A lot of these children probably don't have that type of environment, considering their parents work a lot. Do you think that really helps them to have this type of environment at the development center?
Yes, it certainly does. Although a lot of the children do have families that, of course, do have family style. Mm-hmm. It's just a reinforcement, and it helps them to set the table, to learn how to do that, and work with each other on setting the table, since the children can all work together at doing that.
How many children do you usually house in the development center, like for the child care? How many children can you usually take?
I'm not exactly sure on the exact number. There's about 16 or so kids in a classroom, I believe.
And how many classrooms? Just one?
Oh no, we have 2 to 3-year-old and 4-year-old classes, and then we have a 5 and 6, and then we have a school-agers classroom also.
Where do you get the money and funding to provide these programs? Are you nonprofit?
Yes, we're nonprofit. Both organizations are. We get our money through different places, through federal grants, a lot of money from United Way, which is a big help. United Way is personal donations with Turning Point, corporate donations, other grants that we have supported us.
Now, when parents utilize the 24-hour crisis line that Turning Point offers, do you usually have any parents who call back again to utilize that? Are there parents who are more or less repeat that?
Yes, there are. Because we're state funded, we have certain regulations that need to be followed. So we can't just keep serving people over and over again. So we have an administrator that screens, that goes through all the paperwork and decides who needs our services the most. So we hate to turn anyone away, but sometimes we have to.
Now, has anyone ever utilized this line that have already abused their children?
No, we don't take children who are abused. We try to get to them before they've been abused or neglected. So if that circumstance would ever arise, we would have to, of course, call Franklin County Children's Services, since we don't deal with children who are abused. But with Turning Point, we give all the children who come to Turning Point a medical examination. So for different reasons, to check to make sure, of course, there's not abuse, or other instances where we just have a family who might not have parenting skills to know. For example, we had a mother bring in her infant who was driving her crazy, crying all the time, 24 hours a day, wouldn't stop screaming. And when the doctor came, she found out that the infant had an ear infection. So that's just an example there of some of the services that are really helpful. So then the doctor would prescribe the ear medication for that child.
Okay. I've also read that you have a new program that deals with prevention in preschool of alcohol and other drugs. Can you tell me a little bit about this?
Sure. We are working with the children at the preschool level. Since there are programs for the elementary level and junior high and high school level, the DARE program, Just Say No, things like that, we decided it needs to really be implemented at a younger age, since they're just as affected by it as elementary and the other children are. So we do different activities with them, with the children, on to just say no to drugs also.
What type of activities are these that you do?
Well, the teachers, again, write it up in their lesson plans and have different activities, and of course then it's approved. The children all did posters, and we have posters through the center of famous stars, just say no, and the children made a big poster, do hugs, not drugs, certain things like that, that's just implemented at Northside.
And do you think the preschoolers get that message?
Yes, they do. Even though they're preschoolers, people think that they might not have any knowledge of what's going on around them, but at that age they really have a lot of knowledge about what's going on. So they all know a lot about drugs, and now they all know to just say no to the drugs.
In Athens County, when you start this new service, will this drug and alcohol awareness program be installed there also?
I believe so. I believe it will be.
Do you know if this is a problem in Athens County? Will this need to be?
I'm not sure. I don't know too many details on the Athens County. Well, I know that they're just going to set up a center as Turning Point is, and we're going to be the model program for that.
I've also been told that you are the largest site for the host grandparent, a foster grandparent program.
Yes.
That runs through your agency?
Yes, we have quite a few foster grandparents that volunteer at the center. They come and they volunteer at different aspects. They will work in the classroom mostly with the children. They'll work one-on-one with the children. Help out in the kitchen. They're fantastic. They help out anywhere that we really need them, and all the children really love them. So whenever anyone yells, "Grandma," about 10 people turn around. So it's really nice for the children to have that.
Now, can anyone who's retired or senior citizen do this? Do they have to contact you any certain way? Or?
There is a foster grandparent program in Columbus that we pretty much work through.
Okay, and if anyone else was interested in becoming involved in your program, what would they do to get involved in it?
Well, to call Northside, and I'd be glad to speak with them about that.
So most of the people who work at Northside are volunteers?
No, because of the working with the children, since we have to be very careful with who we let come into the building and the confidentiality of Turning Point, we just can't let people come in whenever they feel like it to volunteer, although we wish we could. We just can't allow that, so we have to set up certain times and do certain things with that. But our main things that we need the most are like donations for diapers, disposable diapers, and formula for the infants in Turning Point is our major, people donate. We like them to donate that kind of stuff.
Okay, if someone was interested, you said that they could call you. What is your number at Turning Point so they could call you?
It's 299-1131.
Okay. All right, so a lot of people take advantage of this in the area. You said that most people in your center have like an education, child development background. What exact type of background do you need to go into something like this?
Well, like I said, our teachers have a background in child development, so they need to be working with the children. They need to understand the activities that the children need to do at that age-appropriate activities.
Do you have a dietitian who comes in and makes the meals or something so
Yes.
they're balanced and everything?
Yes, we have a dietitian, and we have a menu all filled out for the week beforehand that the parents can see, and it's all regulated. We have they get all their proteins and carbohydrates that they need.
How do you think the Columbus community can help an agency such as yours?
Public awareness is the thing that we strive for the most, so that people know that there are services to help them. If the community, if someone watches this show and goes and tells somebody else, that's one step in the right direction there. Just public awareness that there is a problem of child abuse and neglect in our area, in our entire society, and that more places need to be developed, and that people have a recognition that there is a problem.
Do you think, I'm sure your services have helped a lot of parents. How exactly have parents come to you and said, you know, how exactly this has helped them to take their child to Turning Point?
Well, for Turning Point, what we do is we have a 90-day follow-up. We contact the parent and send them a letter, an evaluation, and ask them to, respond on how they're doing, if their crisis has been resolved, and certain aspects of that. So we get feedback directly from the parent.
Do you ever evaluate the parent and the child after they've been at Turning Point?
That's kind of what the follow-up is
That's
for.
what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think the future holds for an agency such as both the Development Center and Turning Point? Do you think it will grow in the future? Or?
We hope so. There needs to be more centers like North Side, so that the parents who work alternative shifts can come in, so that parents who are in school full-time have places where their children can go also. And of course, we hope that more places like Turning Point arise to hopefully start preventing child abuse and neglect from occurring, so that parents feel like there is somewhere to get help for their children and themselves.
Now, you say that many of the parents work alternative hours. Could you explain? I know that usually means late at night.
Sure.
Hours like that.
Some of them, we might have a nurse who works in a hospital and works the 11 to 7 shift, and people like that in the past have had nowhere to take their child if they don't have anyone to stay home and babysit them while they're sleeping. So with being open 24 hours a day has helped a lot of people in that way.
Do most of the parents who come to you with the child care, are most of them single, considering that if they work the alternative shifts, there's no one at home for the child?
I'm not exactly sure in the statistics of how many parents are single or not, but yes, I believe that most probably are single.
How do you think, you said there is a need for these centers. Do you think, I know that some centers have been started in Cleveland that are a lot like this. Do you think it will spread eventually, and how do you go about spreading yourself?
Yeah, we hope that it catches on and people understand that there is a great need for the services that we provide, and hopefully it will start to spread.
Okay. You were talking a little bit about your alcohol and drug awareness program, and I was just wondering, do many of your children come from homes that have abused drugs and alcohol?
I'm not sure on that. I can't say for sure, but a lot of the children live in neighborhoods that have drug problems in their neighborhood and have violence in their neighborhoods, and not to mention just seeing it on TV. The children, even though they're young, are very alert to their